1 2 1 2. We live for show radio. Classic from the teacher. Sound of the police. Sound of the police. If you take a look at what's going on right now, police sounding off something everywhere. People sounding off something everywhere. What up, though, Kirsten? I'm gonna pause this right quick. Let's get going. Tonight, I expect to be a hot one because tonight I expect your voices to be heard. There's voices being heard all over the place. You know, we got legit protesters in Atlanta, Ann Arbor, St. Louis, Chicago, New York, Houston. We got police plants getting busy in Minneapolis, burning down precincts and buildings, blaming the people. We ain't going for that one, you know, but we got a lot to do tonight. So before I get going any further, this is for show radio. He is the Cardinal.
Strike a pose, bitch.
I am me, and we're gonna make it happen. All right. So I'm gonna put the digits in because we got a live line. And we'll talk about some things. U.S. president stated this morning when they start looting, that's when we start shooting. When they start looting, that's when we start shooting. And he's blaming people who are righteously angry, righteously upset for expressing their pain, their struggle, their frustration the only way they can. That's amazing to me. Excuse me, I'm doing two things at once, you know. The phone lines will be opening soon. Cardinal, speak on it, man. Speak on it.
Well, first of all, you know, let me tell these people who I am before we get started.
I'm sorry.
I am Cardinal Dave, leader of the Church of the Conspiracy, where we believe everything is fixed from what? Sports to politics. And you seeing that right now. And when I say strike a pose, bitch, that means I'm making you famous. You that are calling and listening right now. You're like the runway model. When she walks that aisle and the paparazzi takes her picture and they say, strike a pose, bitch. Mm-hmm. And then they send her to a protest because she even knows the Floyd shit is full.
All right. What we're going to do before we open those lines up, we just got a couple things we want to get out there. So I know you itching to go. Don't worry. We're going to get to each and every one of y'all. Each and every one of y'all we're going to get to, okay? Starting off, you know, pick up where we left off on Monday night. Police murder Eric Floyd.
George
4 responsible. 1 gets charged. 3rd-degree murder. 3rd-degree murder, also called depraved indifference murder. That is the correct charge. I just hope they figure out a way to make it stick. Problem is,
I don't agree with that.
Problem is, well, because you're going to make a common sense argument. That's cool. I'm going to make a legal argument. Okay, legally, that's all you can hit him with. It's just what it is. Common sense, you would think, is murder. But, okay, I'll run it down real quick legally. I'm not just making this up, y'all. 1st-degree murder is when you plan to murder someone, it is premeditated. 2nd-degree murder is, let's say you plan to murder someone, but you murdered someone else by accident. I shot at Roger, right? I called him Eric Floyd. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Sleepy Floyd. George Floyd, absolutely. My bad.
I corrected you, but you don't listen to me. So go ahead.
I shot at someone. I hit someone else. That would be 2nd degree. 3rd-degree murder or depraved indifference murder. What he's getting hit with is if when you do something with such disregard for human life, we're going to hit you with this murder count. So an example of that would be, let's say I shot into an occupied house. I shot into a house where people were living and it struck someone and killed them. Okay, manslaughter
or running a stop sign.
Manslaughter would be if I shot into a vacant home and it was like maybe a homeless person sleeping there. I killed them. So I'm looking at how he was digging in on this dude, digging in on his neck with his hand in his pocket, like he had all the time in the world, with a smile on his face, little grin, depraved indifference. He did not care. He murdered this dude. You know what I'm saying? It took forever to bring the charges. I'm like, how did it take 4 days for this? And what they just put out a little while ago, I guess, is they're trying to say, well, underlying health conditions may have contributed. But what about cutting off somebody's air supply?
My ass.
For 9 minutes, 3 minutes after he was already gone. So ain't nobody really hearing that. Ain't nobody really hearing that. But for those like Stromboli who saying first degree, that's not what first degree legally. That's not what first degree murder is. Yes, I get it. Yes, I understand the sentiment. But you know, we're gonna take what we can get because you know, basically in Minneapolis, they got a policy where white cop kills black person, they don't press charges at all. Amy Klobuchar, who some of y'all are so hyped on, she was a prosecutor. She passed on.
Yeah, y'all seeing the real monkey now. Some of y'all wanted that whole bag to be president. Right. Y'all seeing the real thing now with that whore bag.
So I'm really, really glad to see folks taken to the streets. I'm really, really glad to see them making their voices heard. I got a problem with people who kick it like, well, it was wrong, but they should be rioting because they're just burning down their communities. No, they not. Especially in Minneapolis. No, they not.
Kiss my ass.
At the same time, being around a lot of them, yeah, third degree murder only carries a maximum sentence of 25 years. But you know, to that I say, where's the sniper? I'm gonna just leave it at that. Where's the sniper? But I will say, you know, that let's get something. Let's get something.
Well, they're getting it down in Atlanta right now.
They are not going to. This is not going to be first degree murder, man. I hate to say that.
Well, you know what? You know what? Listen,
legally, it's not going to
happen. Let me say this. I don't have to agree or disagree with what you just said because what you just said legally is true.
That's all I'm saying.
Those three counts are. But here's how I think that it's going to get bumped up from third degree to second. Okay. The two of these clowns. Excuse me. I shouldn't call Brother Floyd a clown. Okay, that's not what I meant. These two knew each other. They worked for the same company at a Latino nightclub, and they were both security. No, we don't. And but that is for a good ass lawyer to fucking make those ties and bring that together. Okay? But if you can prove it may not be third, but it can damn sure be second. Because if he, here's why, because if he had a beef with this dude, then you could say that, based on past history, he did mean to kill him and it was premeditated.
Let me tell you what happens.
I've been trying to catch up with you and I finally did.
Let me tell you what's going to happen when that happens. When you hit him with that, he's going to get a not guilty. And then you're going to be stuck. Put this one in jail, dude. Look, they got a call allegedly for a forgery. So they was calling in for a crime. So I'm not planning to kill you, dude, if I'm walking the beat or whatever I'm doing and I get called in for work and he just happens to be there. You know, they're not going to go. Jason's right on the head.
Once he saw him, he's like, okay, it's him.
I mean, I would hope so. Don't get me wrong. I'm not arguing that this should happen. I'm just strictly giving y'all the legal argument. I want to see him fry. Bottom line. That's what I want to see. I want to see the
when he goes to jail, you already know what's going to happen.
So we're not arguing there, y'all. I'm just coming from a straight legal perspective.
I understand what you're saying. I get it. I would love to argue with you, but I can't right now because I agree.
Hate crime. I'm good with them. Whatever that takes, whatever you can do. But I also want to see you hit him with what's gonna stick because I don't want to see him walk for nothing.
But here's the thing: and I agree with that. When he goes to jail, and I'm gonna say when, I'm putting it out there. I'm speaking it out into existence. When he goes to jail, it doesn't matter if he gets a year. It doesn't matter if he gets 3 months. Okay? I promise you, he will not get out of that jail. There are too many prisoners. There are too many COs, black COs, who are going to be like, oh no, we're going to fix this. I promise you. He goes to jail, he dies. Okay? AKA Jeffrey Dahmer. You knew he wasn't getting out of jail.
I don't believe that.
Okay? I promise you.
Jail, this is going to be straight protective custody the whole. We're going to be PC the entire time.
They will find a way. They will find a way. And that's what, it will. It will. How you think? It don't. How you think Jeffrey Epstein got killed? And don't say he hung himself.
Oh, are you really?
He had too much on too many people. You think he hung himself?
What's his name? What's South Carolina? Dylan Roof. He's gonna be just as safe as him. Not gonna happen.
Yeah, okay. But Dylan Roof.
Not gonna happen. He's not going to jail.
I could agree with that. Dylan Roof didn't spark off the rage that this is.
What? No,
I'm talking about nationwide. I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying people wasn't mad. No. Bro, I was mad. I was pissed off. All of us were pissed off. I'm saying you didn't see what you see now in San Jose. They in the streets tearing it up. Down in Atlanta, they tearing it up. People were mad, but they didn't take to the streets and start tearing shit up.
There's some reasons, Stromboli. I agree with you right there. I definitely believe about Epstein, but let's hold on now. There's a reason for that. One, we all on lockdown.
Stromboli, that's my brother Brian.
Two, we're paying attention right now, so it's just more focused. But what Dylan Roof did was heinous, my dude. He stepped up.
I'm not saying it was
murdered folks with an automatic, man. No,
I'm not comparing the two. I'm just looking at the reaction of both. I'm saying that this is old hat. This police brutality stuff is old hat.
Remember this.
And the millennials then woke up. They tearing shit up. Okay. And I love it.
Dude, I'm going to jump
on. I love what's going on right now.
Dude, come on.
That's right. I love it. I love it. I love it.
That's nothing.
I got no problem with it.
You
know what?
But it's not going to do nothing.
But listen, I will say this. I called you by that name. I can't believe it. But listen to me.
Jason, great point.
We have said for a long time that, now you may not have said it, but others have said it. You've heard it before. Why they always tearing up their own neighborhood? Why don't they go tear up something else? You know? Well, none of them live in the CNN neighborhood, and they're down there tearing it up.
But they're really not.
It's beautiful.
CNN is getting all kind of publicity, dude. I mean,
it's maybe so, but this is no
different than a Michigan State football game. Don't be for real with you, man. Come on, man. So what?
With them tearing stuff up.
They ain't tearing that up. You broke some.
They're showing. They're showing. I'm actually looking at it right now. They are in the lobby of CNN. I'm looking at it. Come on, while we're in the background.
Okay,
I'm sitting there looking. They're in the lobby, and the police are outside. It's the optics.
What does that do?
They're doing something.
I'm not.
Okay, they're not just marching. We shall over.
Honestly, that did something. That did something. That changed.
It did something then.
Okay.
It did something then. Now it's a new day with a new type of march.
I'm talking about now, but I'm saying before you dissed that changed a lot.
I'm not dissing it. I'm not dissing it. 1960.
Okay.
I'm dissing it. You can't take yesterday's keys and open today's.
Nobody's doing that. Who's marching talking about we shall overcome? This is straight up social disruption.
Well, no.
They stood on 94, homie. I-94 got shut down today.
It sure did. You're right. Okay. But there have been some marches, some peaceful marches. Unfortunately, I mean, I'm not saying it's the dominant trend. The dominant trend right now, they're not marching. They're tearing shit up.
I want to address something, but that alone is not going to help. Jason just put a point up here I want to raise. I know you can't see it. Is the message lost with a riot? I think the message is accented. I think it puts up. I think it elevates it. I think it escalates it.
I agree.
And I ain't gonna call it a riot. I'm gonna call it a rebellion, because a riot suggests you have something with this anyway. So I don't have a problem with you being out protesting. I think that's your right, your duty, and at a certain age, that's what you should be doing. But it can't, in my opinion, it's not going to just stop with that. I mean, what do you think, Cardinal?
Well, I mean, as right now, they're showing some folks getting cuffed up on. I don't want to get. All
right, we got a call, man. We're gonna let this in. For sure, ready.
Let's go to the call.
Go for it, my dude.
Oh damn! I'm sorry, bro. I got the wrong goddamn number. That's my
strike a pose, Steven Johnson.
My bad, dog.
All right, we get back. Well, almost ready. Look, man. These phone lines are open. I'm hearing they just threw gas inside the CNN. They threw it back up.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh yeah, they're showing out down there. I
Hey,
love it.
brother,
I'm not gonna lie. I got no problem with it.
has no damage to his property while random strangers have property destroyed. Okay. Guess what though? I mean, let's be for real. Who was really going out there destroying property? Was it the protesters or was it plants? Because what we saw were police
Oh, there was plants in it was plants in Minnesota.
I don't believe
They started that crap, and so they can't say nothing. And so when Trump came out talking about thugs, I guess he didn't see that video.
No, he know what's going on.
And that wouldn't have stopped him from saying it anyway. I
don't believe for 1 minute this riot has messed up the case for the family. Not one.
No, not one bit. I agree with you. I think it accented. I think it elevated it and brings more attention to it.
We gotta call
it. Shows the anger of the fucking people.
For Show Radio, what's happening?
Strike up. Oh.
Yeah, hey, my bad. That was me.
Okay. Run it.
Yeah. My thing is delayed on my computer, so I'm watching y'all. You there?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I just wanted, this thing from Detroit. What's up? Strike a pose, bitch.
Strike a pose, you bitch.
Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to call in with a couple things, man. Number one, what I'm noticing wholesale is like friends I grew up with on my Facebook page, the ones I went to private school with, my mom put me in Christian school, all that stuff. They're silent.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying a goddamn word about what's going on right now. And so I've deleted a lot of them. One of them made a comment on my page, something to the effect of, well, you must comply. Like, so if you don't comply, you die, and you got to think, man, white people look at police different than we do. They're their friends.
So,
that's their homeboys.
Some,
I would agree. You see some blue and white lights, red lights in your rear view, you know what I'm saying? You get nervous.
Oh, yeah.
Not to them, though.
Yeah. And
then the other thing is, why does the victim have to prove that he's actually the victim?
Mm-hmm.
That makes no sense.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to tell y'all that last video you guys had, was that Monday or Wednesday?
Monday.
Mm-hmm. Man, I wound up the day after that, or 2 days after, I think it was it last night? I wound up watching this girl's live feed from Minneapolis for like 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And it really sunk in my spirit, and it got me misguided and misdirected mentally. And I had to pray, man, because I'm not a bitter person. Like, I don't want that shit to rest in my spirit. I don't want to kill nobody. I don't want to hurt nobody. Because the fact is that we can't win against these motherfuckers face to face. I mean, you can try to do that shit. You can burn shit down. All that type of shit you can do. But in the end, you're going to be the one going to jail. And so if we all going to jail, we're part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
We're not part of
this white boy down to CNN is showing.
So what I did, I want to read y'all some real quick. Get off the line. I think Dave read it earlier, and I don't know about if you have, but I wound up writing a real quick email to Representative Ilhan Omar of Minneapolis, 5th District, where that occurred. And it says, I hope this email finds you well. While I'm not a member of your district and in fact live in suburban Detroit, I'm actually a constituent of your colleague Brenda Lawrence's 14th district. I've become quite concerned and unsettled at certain aspects of the state of policing in America. In light of the recent incident in your district in Minneapolis, Minnesota, involving the death of George Floyd in particular, I would like to request and plead that you and your esteemed colleagues who share your general interests and sentiments regarding the abuse and deaths of citizens at the hands of law enforcement consider drafting a bill, which I have named the Cuffed to Death Bill. The bill should allow and mandate that on a federal level, anytime a person, regardless of nationality, religion, race, or creed, is handcuffed and completely subdued, dies in police custody, that it trigger an automatic investigation on the federal level. If something like this were enacted, it could result in sweeping change in the general mindset of police officers during initiating an arrest, as well as influencing amendments and policies with local law enforcement agencies in which they serve. This law would be in addition to any punitive repercussions they may face on the local level. It appears that most municipalities are ill-equipped or reluctant to handle the oversight of their officers in a fair and equitable manner when something like this happens. Please consider bringing legislation before the House of Representatives this year regarding this tragic and urgent issue.
Sounds good, my dude. I gotta let you go, but appreciate it. We're gonna discuss it.
And by the way, he did send that to his constituents because my brother just posted up there, and I can't see the comments down there.
I mean, it's
so
real.
He did, yeah. He did send it to him.
Speak on this.
So good luck with that.
This is already on the books. This is something suggested by Elizabeth Warren and others a while back. See, local police departments' funding is tied into federal dollars. That's how they get all their magic stuff. So a great way to push this stuff through is to attach that to some money. You got to do this. You got to investigate that. You got to eliminate immunity for police officers in order to get our money and our funding. So that's something that's got to work its way through the House and Senate, but I support it completely. For Show Radio, speak your piece. Caller.
I didn't hear it ring.
Yes.
Talk, my brother.
Lee.
What's up?
Hey, what's going on, man? It's Lamont. Cardinal.
What up, Lamont?
What up, bro?
Take a pause, Yogi.
You know what? I just wanted to thank the both of you for having this discussion tonight. It's very, very needed. I am very saddened and hurt by everything that's been transpiring. But I don't want to continue to harp on the story. I know we all seen, the lynching of George Floyd.
Yes, Lord.
That's what it was.
CNN. I just want to share just a quick story. I was laying in the bed this afternoon taking a nap, and the TV woke me up. I heard somebody that sounded like Sister Soldier on the TV. I'm like, well, who is this? This is a different voice. I'm used to Jesse Jackson and all the other old heads, saying what the Cardinal was just saying. We shall overcome, all that stuff, right? Yeah. I heard this young lady speaking some stuff that I wanted to hear, so I went in the kitchen, got me a glass of water, sat on the edge of the bed, and I was continuing to listen. But all of a sudden, CNN cut to all the different stories they've been running all day, all the stuff that I've been listening to all day, and they never went back to that place. So my beef is with CNN.
Isn't that nice?
To show all these people barricaded inside of, the CNN building, and they got the red dot sites and all that. All they're doing is provoking these people right now.
I agree.
So I just want to call in and share that, man. And I want to thank you too, man, for continuing to, you have your shows. You had a couple of malfunctions last week or the week before, but y'all made it and y'all sound good tonight, man.
Appreciate that.
And I appreciate y'all very much.
All right, man. We appreciate you. Love you, bro.
Love you too.
Hey, man. Love you, my brother. Hey, we appreciate you hyping us up too, man, and giving us that constructive criticism about the bad feedback and stuff. I mean, hey, we need that. You know what I'm saying? Well,
and
my co-host needs it.
We need you, though. I think I have that tonight. Share this show. If you watching on Facebook right now, share this show. This is your voice. Join the For Show group page. That's where we discuss topics. Y'all bring up topics, man. Let's get back to these so-called riots. When you look at the Minneapolis crowd, you don't see a whole lot of people that look like George Floyd, myself, or the Cardinal. Yet
that's right.
The narrative out there that these are the people tearing stuff up. Now, I think you got every right to protest. I ain't even saying none of that. But I'm saying, let's take a real look at this. And what you see are a whole lot
Don't think ain't no white people down there cutting up.
Whole lot
Don't you believe it?
Who they just want to go places and fight the system, period. So they'll take whatever cause it is and jump in there and try to scrap and break windows. The one dude got caught. Police officer got caught.
I got no problem.
Rushed out all the windows in the auto zone. With the gas mask.
That's right.
I mean, who's walking
with the gas mask and an umbrella
to burn down a precinct? What police say? Oh, you know what? There's so many people here. We all just gonna leave and let it be. I mean, you can't tell me
exactly.
That was the community. You can't tell me. You can't convince.
They got the call.
That was the community.
They got the phone call.
They
got the phone call.
What happened? And you ain't got to burn down a precinct for that. But you want to put all the distraction there. Put all that in there so you ain't got to deal with this pandemic that you're doing nothing about. And the fact that your racist department systematically has been killing black folks. Killing black folks with no regard and no process.
Well, you know what this goes back to? Man. This goes back to what I've been talking about for the last 15, 20 years on For Show.
Okay.
That there's going to be a race war, and it's not coming, it's here. Now, I need you to understand what I mean by race war. I don't mean white people lining up on one side and black people lining up on the other, and we pointing guns at each other like it's the Revolutionary War. Okay, ready, aim, fire. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a black ideology versus a racist white ideology. That's the race war that I'm talking about. And it's going to be mostly whites on one side and mostly blacks on the other. However, if you think, and if Minnesota and them don't prove it, whether no matter what excuse they had to come down or whatever, if you think that you're not going to have white people and Asians and definitely brown and red caught up in this with us on this side, just like that damn fool Sheriff Clark up in Wisconsin, he's on the white ideology side because he's a sick piece of trash. Look him up if you need. Okay, but that's the race war that I'm talking about. I'm looking at this CNN garbage that's going on down there right now. They had this.
Let's hit this caller, man. Let's hit this caller.
This white dude down there, they putting the beams on him. And he don't care. Oh, love it.
Show Radio, you on the air. Okay. Gotta roll.
Maybe they dialed the wrong number. Maybe they thought we was the carry out. I'll bring them some pizza.
Show Radio, you on the air. Go for it.
Oh my God, what are you having sex?
Okay. I was going to piggyback off Dave's comment about the race war. The soul of America has died under this president's watch. You know, something has changed, man. There's a shift in the atmosphere. You know, and
right.
He's right, man. Something is really about to jump off in this country.
Oh, it's jumping now.
We've never seen before.
Never seen before?
Well, not us.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. Our generation has been fairly
90
lucky.
years old or something, but
yeah.
I feel that, you know, like I said a second ago, the soul of America is dead, man. I mean, when I say that, what I mean is this dream they've sold us, you know, make money and live and do all this other shit. Even in corporate America, you know. I mean, it's a falsehood. It's bullshit. You know, and so we're at an impasse at this point. And we got to take action. And one thing I noticed I want to say real quick, and I'm going to get off and let other people call. Black people are divided based on religion a lot. Oh, he a Christian. He a Jehovah's Witness. I can't fuck with. He a Hebrew. You know, white people, when they join the KKK, do you think they care about if somebody's a Methodist or a Lutheran or a Catholic? They don't care about that.
Oh, no, they against Catholic.
All they care about is that you're white.
They're against Catholic.
Right.
They ain't got no. They ain't messing with no Catholics and Jews. But I hear you.
You know what I'm saying? No, what I'm speaking to is our unity is destroyed. We have no unity, you know. And once we get our unity and we start collectively coming together against shit like this, see, they fear us, you know, and they fear the fact that they know our potential. Shit, they know our history better than we do.
Mm-hmm. Right?
You know
well, that's why you're seeing death. That's why you're seeing death. Because they're afraid. So the only way to deal with them is to try and kill them.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
I may call in again.
Good work.
Man, I know your number.
Hey, man. Hey, keep calling. Keep calling. Hey, look. Hey, y'all. Don't get mad because Steve called.
I want to tell y'all that y'all inspired me, man. I had to channel my anger the other night when I got off the phone and I shot that email off. I read to you guys.
Yeah.
After
That's
I
what's
got
up.
off the phone with y'all. So I want to thank y'all for letting me channel my anger in the right direction.
Oh, man.
Because burning shit down and all that ain't going to solve nothing.
Nah, we appreciate you.
Well, the Cardinal is a mini role model, brother. The Cardinal is a mini role model, and I'm glad that I personally inspired you. I told you I helped raise him. So I personally feel responsible for Steve's awakening and him contacting his lawmaker doing.
Is that all right with you?
Woo!
Some great points that Dave has brought up, Dante's brought up. I want to hit these, man. You were speaking.
Dave Hunter in the house.
Race war, I think is more economic. I think you're gonna line up on the side of capitalists, or all about that money, or all about that personal, individual thing, or you more about that collective.
I'm almost saying the same thing.
And I think a lot of you all are going to probably be upset when you do this, but I don't believe there's going to be no unity, especially not necessarily Black unity. And I say that because until we were brought here to these shores, there was no such thing as a Black man. You were your tribe, you were your family, you were your crew.
Right.
Us being put here together in this situation forced us at some point to try to come together. But it don't take a whole lot. When you look at the civil rights movement, man, that was less than 0.1% of our population that changed things for everyone. Because 99.9% of the people were not messing with it. They were scared. They were afraid. They were stuck somewhere. And those people elevated the masses. And just like this, although I'm not out there in the street with these folks, my heart and spirit are with them. But it's not going to take everybody, because we're not going to get everybody. Even inside the church, folks ain't necessarily always going to get along or be down with each other.
Well, and I agree. Believe it or not, I agree with what you're saying.
I'm going to grab them, but I got to hold on for one quick sec. Us waiting on a unity that's never going to happen should not stop us from pushing forward. Like, I love that Steve took it upon himself to write a letter to Congressman, Representative Omar.
Right.
I love that folks are stepping up, because that's what's going to take a bunch of us making steps is what's really going to blow it up. The show radio speaks.
And that's why I said it's an ideology thing.
It's on you, caller.
Hello.
Yep, go for it.
I just wanted to say that I just got through reading where the autopsy reports, where once again, when you think that you're moving in the right steps or right direction to get justice, then of course they pull it back, and all of a sudden it's his fault because because George Floyd has preconditions of whatever, and alcohol in his system or whatever.
Yeah.
All his fault, and you know, it just I couldn't get through the reading the statement without like breaking down and like in disbelief that this is where we are. And I do understand. I've never been a fan of rioting, but what my question is, you know, what is it that we're going to be able to do before we get some permanent change? You know, I'm an advocate of prayer, most definitely. But we've been praying for hundreds of years. And I'm like, there's got to be some other actions that happen. And I truly don't know what that would be, but I really want to see us get to that place and that space.
Oh, excellent points.
This is Pat, by the way.
Excellent. Name is Pat.
That's a great question.
Absolutely, great call. Thank you.
That's a great question.
Great call.
If I can,
go ahead,
Pat, if I can help to answer that question,
the floor is yours.
I think recognition. That's what's going to get recognition of the time and recognition of what's going on. Recognition that we got to put the small stuff aside and focus on what is coming against us right now. It can't be no small time stuff. Recognition, and what recognition is look out here in the streets of Atlanta right now. That's recognition. Look in the streets of San Jose. Look in Detroit and them blocking off I-94 stuff. That is recognition. Okay, that is Ann Arbor. That's a bunch of people coming together who recognize they're not just tearing shit up. They're not just, running willy-nilly. And this is not looking like what happened with Rodney King. This is looking a little bit different. Yeah, the people are upset. They're breaking stuff, but they recognize what's going on. To me, that is the beginning of it. Because I want to go back to something that my co-host just said, that it's not going to just be, black unity. Like all of a sudden, all black people are just going to wake up and all of us are going to ride together and do this, that, and the other. It's all about an ideology. And guess what? Some people are going to be on the other side. And some of the people who you think going to be on the other side going to be on your side. I think you got to recognize.
I think you raised, hold on one sec, caller. I think you raised some great points. What I had to say to that is people are not going to respect you till they fear you. They're not going to respect you until they fear you. And when we start standing up and we start handling our business, they're going to think twice about what they do. But as long as you're waiting and somebody else to change it for you, it's not going to happen. I hate to think if I was on that street, I hate to think if I was on that street and I saw them killing this guy, I asked myself, what would I do? Knowing that, I'll probably be sacrificing my life because they're gonna put a bullet in. Could I see them kill him? Could I see that happen? Are we going to allow that to happen? And I think that's the point. We got to stop allowing stuff to happen in our community. Let me tell you something. In certain parts of Brooklyn, you are not going to go in there and cause no mayhem because they're going to police their own community. You're not going to go in Chinatown in New York and start all kind of stuff not looking Asian because they're going to police their community. And I think at a certain point, when we start to police our community and have more respect for ourselves and we don't tolerate it, a lot of this will change. Now, I'm not trying to say go out there and kill police, although some have. I'm not saying go out there and cause chaos, but I'm trying to tell you this. I'm not even going there. No, I'm not, because I'm not going to tell somebody to do something I want to do. I'm not going to say that. But I am going to say.
Oh, you do it. If they drove you to it, everybody got that button. You do it.
Yeah, but I'm not going to advocate people do it. But I am going to say this: when we start standing up for ourselves, it's going to be a different show. I got a couple callers on hold. I'm going to let you both come through. Where's my first caller? Oh, caller, please call back from 313 number. I'm very sorry about that.
I like what Aido just said. Why does this only happen during election?
Here we go. Caller, go for it.
It's all fixed, Aido.
Go for it, sir or ma'am. 820, that number. Go for it. It's on you.
Hey, how you doing? This is Adrian. How you doing, David?
It's Adrian, sir.
Hey, Adrian, what's going on, AC?
Hey, I am very enraged about what's going on lately. I've been upset for a very long time, though.
Yes, you have.
Y'all from Detroit, y'all remember Valley Street. I was a child when that happened. And I was upset and didn't really understand what was going on. Fast forward to now, y'all know all of the different people that have lost their lives and senselessly, and it's just ridiculous. I predicted this would happen with the riots because with the other situation, people really started to get enraged then. I've seen a lot of and talked to a lot of Black people, and they were boiling when the Arbery situation happened a few weeks ago, where it became public, or where it became viral. I should say public. I should say viral because it happened back in February, and then we didn't recognize until later. I'm very enraged. I'm very upset. I do believe that the riots are unnecessary. I understand that the reason why they're doing it, but I feel like we should look at the past. None of the riots did anything for other than quote unquote recognition, as David said. Okay, we recognize it, but look at Detroit, where we are all from. I was nowhere near born around 1968 when we had our rights, but I had lived through the effects from the rights, including the school system, which David knows very well, being a former teacher. Yes. I had to deal with learning with 30-year-old books, and everything stemmed from them riots. You understand what I'm saying? We had really, really horrible effects. I had grew up in. I was nowhere near alive during that time, but I grew up with the effects from the riots. I don't want that to happen to anybody else's city. Where the children will have to live through the effects of what you're doing today. So we need to do more positive things in a positive direction and more proactive things in terms of doing something for real change. A real change is going to be about what you explained a little bit earlier. I can't remember your name, but I know you call yourself me. When you started to talk about the economic change and going through the politicizing different things, you have to go through economics. How the Montgomery boycott was effective because it stuck to it for over a year. It happened over a year. It's not going to be this one thing that they're stating. I don't know if y'all talked about this blackout they're trying to do on July 7th. One day is not going to cripple a system to where they're going to affect change. That Montgomery boycott took a year because they had to feel the effects of the economic disparity that they had to endure for a freaking year, a whole year. This is a marathon. This is not a sprint. This is not something that's going to happen in one day. We want things to happen now. Yeah, it should have been happening a long time ago. But you can't do it by messing up your own system. You can't do it. Period. It's got to be done strategically. We have to outwit.
All right. You made some great points. Great points. We're going to hang up. We're going to discuss them. So appreciate you. Thank you. For sure. Yeah. That's one of your former students, man. Very, very, very important.
Well, no, she's a friend of mine. She's a good friend of mine. I will say this. She's a former Detroit police officer who was shot in the line of duty.
Okay.
And so I'm always gonna have, respect for Adrian.
There's a couple things. I loved her passion. Points. A couple things I disagree on as far as Detroit and growing up in the aftermath of the riots. My pops grew up in Detroit pre-riot. White investment money been coming from Detroit since '55. They had already been leaving and coming up under Big Four and police that would just run up and just beat on you for nothing. That was going to explode at some point. So I got a real problem. I'm not saying Adrian was doing it at all. Not saying she was doing it. But there's a lot of people who blame the victims. You're not going to just knock me all upside the head. And the only way I have to express myself is to act a fool, is to do something, and then try to blame me for it. Because when you say community, a lot of times my mind's like, who's community? Who really controls this? Do I own any of this? or am I in a hostage situation? Am I renting? Whatever you watch on TV must be good, sir, because we need your attention here.
I'm trying not to. I'm listening to you. I just don't want to look at you.
Okay.
Listen. Can I add this? I know you got a call coming up too. But I agree with what you're saying. But I will say this: I can meet her halfway on this. We can't just keep rioting. But as far as the rioting, we can't just keep doing it. There's something that has to come out of it. However, and I'm using the word rioting. You know, I like uprising, but there has to be something that comes out of it. It's okay to react. You know how you react when you're at home, when you're mad. Your kids might do something, and you might just go off on them. What the hell, blah, blah, blah. But you can't keep doing that. Eventually, you are going to have to let them know why
we've been locked in. Look what we've endured the last 3 weeks while everybody's home to watch it. We've seen Ahmaud Arbery. We've seen Breonna Taylor. Then we see this. And on a lighter note, we see the Central Park burn watcher. And I'm not knocking that because one different thing, and that could have went a whole other way. It'd have been one more corpse. Because he asked the woman to put her dog on the leash. We seen a 90-year-old grandmother jumping on her grandson to keep police from shooting him. We seeing this stuff happen over and over and over. Brian, call back, B. I'm going to put you right through. Don't even worry about it. Call back, man. I'm sorry. You've been on hold a long time. Got to call her and pick him up. Oh, hold on. Brian is still here. B,
thanks for the call.
Go for it, man. Go for it. Go for it, man. You on.
What up? Strike a pose, Stromboli.
Let him go. Go, man. The floor is yours.
I just wanted to make a couple of points, man. And
this will be fun.
The first point is just about. Am I on? Can you hear me?
Man, we can hear you. Go
yes,
for
sir.
No, I just want to make the first point, man, about the whole police situation. I mean, of course, this ain't no new shit. Right. You know what I mean? It's just been going on all our lives, at least. We just got people.
Old hat.
Yep.
But the thing is, we got to stop going after these cops that are doing all of this shit and start going after the fucking police unions. Fuck the cops. We go after them, they just going to get the fuck off because the police unions provide cover. If we can shut that shit down, I don't know how it's going to happen, but something's got to happen to shut the police unions down. You know, I don't mean stop them altogether, but stop them from covering for these filthy ass cops. And another thing, if we establish residency requirements like they used to have in Detroit until Dennis Archer bitch ass fucked it up. But
psychopath.
If there's any relatives of Archer out there, fuck it. I said what I said. But he fucked that up. And he caused all kind of hell because, you know, you got these motherfucking wild ass hogs out here thinking they going out on safari. I got to go up into the jungle today. You know, all of this kind of shit. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's what they say.
Man. If you lived in a community, you would not be putting your knee in somebody's neck because you know you're going to get fucked up when you get off work.
Police and fire, B. Police and firemen.
That's a hell of a point. That's a hell of a point.
Firemen sitting outside a house taking pictures while it's burning down like it's party time.
That's a hell of a point.
Unions, that's what we need to focus on. And another thing, we're not going to get nothing done in the black community. A lot of people might not agree with what I'll say here, but fuck them. We're not going to get shit done in the black community until black folks get rid of niggas. Flat the fuck out. Niggas are destroying the black community, period. It's been like that, and it's just gotten worse because now niggas are accepted as the new black culture. It's not the black culture anymore, it's niggas culture. Black folks.
That's right!
Black folks are supposed to have unity. Black folks, all the shit that our people died for in the 60s, the 50s, and before, in the 70s, all of that shit, man, look at here. If this shit was back then, the whole motherfucking place would be shut down. Because niggas are only out for self. Niggas only give a fuck about themselves. You know what I mean? Niggas are out to pay. Niggas are out to fuck. Niggas are out to get high. Niggas don't give a fuck about unity because they only out for themselves.
Yes, sir.
One of the main aspects. You know what I mean? And the sooner we can
tell them how you feel. Tell them how you really feel.
That's for real. The sooner we can get rid of it, I mean, we gotta speak. This is war. We gotta speak for real. We gotta speak like we on the battlefield.
Yes, it is.
You know, we can't speak like we scholars or some shit like that. We gotta speak like it's going down. We got to get these niggas the fuck
up. It is going down.
Your brother, your cousin, your sister, fuck them. Them niggas gotta go. Flat the fuck out.
Well, time will weed them out.
Love it, man.
They
Love
will get weeded out.
Love the passion.
Can y'all tell that was my brother?
It is, man.
Could y'all actually tell that? Strike up, oh.
Came with the funk. I'll let you go first, man.
Hey man, you gotta recover. Well, a lot of people say I'm responsible for that. No, I actually do a good job in listening to my brother and learning. See, when you're a good teacher, it's because you're a good student. But listen, man,
go ahead. I'll go after you.
I'm just gonna say this, man. I mean, listen, that's the type of fire I'm telling you. You know what's funny, man, is that you've heard a different tenor from, different callers from, Pat, from Adrian to Steve. My brother just called. Everybody is pretty much saying the same thing a different way. You know what I'm saying? But what you're hearing is that we gotta wake up. I know Spike said it a long time ago in the movie, but we gotta wake up. Now, how you wake up, people may have a different ideology on that or whatever, but we gotta wake up and act, okay? Not just in front of a camera, but we have to take action. Now, you seeing action in the streets tonight, okay? They down in CNN tearing stuff up, okay? And but it's something. They're taking action. Now, what is good? They can't go to CNN every night. That's my point. You can't keep doing that.
I'll let you finish.
Okay?
I'll let you finish.
But it is something. And you gotta learn from them and say, okay, now what? Oh, they down there like physically fighting right now. It's a white boy too. The police are now that they are outright fighting. Oh, it's Los Angeles.
Hold on, bro.
My bad. I'm sorry. I'm sitting up here looking at They are like straight up bucking right now. This dude in a blue hoodie is fighting four cops.
I mean, they could peep that another time. We on this. I could care less what they doing. We on this.
Oh, well, they better not tune to it. I'm giving them a play-by-play. You watch the
cool. So what? On the real beat, I agree with you, man. But you remind me of when I was in the trenches, when I was in that, when I was living in that, when I was dealing with that every day, when it was stressing me.
Howling at the moon.
I think it take all types. I think it take all types of actions, take all kinds of people. You better have some scholars and some architects and some engineers and some builders, or you ain't gonna have nothing. I just believe it's a whole lot easier to destroy than build. I could break a window all day, but can I build an institution? I could talk all the stuff I want to talk. The reason we have, and I hate this word. The reason we had niggas is because the systems have failed. So I can't just get mad at you when you're a product of a jacked up system. I got to try to help you. I'm trying to convert you. I want you stronger, because if you're strong in one way, you're going to be even stronger in the other. So I can't just give up. And that's easy for me to say because I ain't got to deal with it every day no more. When I had to deal with it every day, when I had to go through stuff, dealing with some N-word stuff, man, I was ready to bust shots constantly, stressed out.
Yeah, I remember when you were having problems.
I feel you, and I don't disagree. But I also think we got.
I laughed at some of the problems.
I seen Nataki chime in, and Nataki put up just an incredible article 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks. I mean, 2 days ago. I'm sorry, yesterday.
Nataki, I need you to call.
I want to
hear your voice.
The psychology of a rioter, man, and what builds that, man. But
yeah,
I just think we have a lack of. We don't feel like we don't value our worth a lot of times. And when you don't, you let people treat you any kind of way. When you value your worth, that's not going to happen. And if it do happen, it ain't going to happen like that. And I just think one of the main things we miss, man, I just remember coming up where when I was a kid, the Black Panther Party was strong where I lived. And as a young adult, the Nation of Islam was very strong. as far as taking brothers and really flipping. We had 2 calls. Both of y'all call back. I'm gonna get you. We're gonna let y'all ride tonight. As you know, we let you talk as long as possible. I left this up for a long time because
we've definitely been doing that.
What continuous action do we take? And that continuous action can't be tearing stuff up. It has to be something productive, something for these seeds, something for these kids. We can complain all day, but what can we do? And honestly, I think a lot of us are doing stuff. Man, just about everybody on here is active in their community in some kind of way. And that might not be glamorous, that might not be sexy, but that's real.
But it's something
real. You know, I think that's far more productive than kicking in the window, man. Somebody coming to Georgia and staying with you. That's what Steve say. Hey, callers, call back. Dante chime in. Nataki, Kirstina, Katrina, Connie, call in.
$400 a month, Steve.
Call in.
$400 a month. I'll put you in the back room, the little small room.
Man, anytime, man. It's wide open for you.
Glass of water every 3 days. Hey, listen, man. I do want to say something about, you know, somebody said something to me earlier. We were arguing, going back and forth about this. Why is it that every single time we listen to, and this is mostly what white folks doing, this black, we do it too. But when a cop kills somebody or brutalizes somebody, we always have to be reminded of, well, there are some good cops, so let's not go for. I can't stand that. And let me tell you why. You know why people do that? They do that because they want to shut you down. They're scared and they want to. Well, listen.
Radio
every time. Oh, we got a caller. Go ahead. Why you ain't telling me?
How are you?
I'm wonderful. So here's the thing. So
Nataki,
what up, Big Brother Dave? So
yeah, it is
continuous action that we have to take. We have to understand that everybody can't take the same action, right? Mm-hmm. So it takes all types. You got to have those people that can be those frontline people. You got to have those people that can be those boardroom people. The problem is, because we don't have those conversations with ourselves, within our own communities, we don't know where to go. We don't know where to go to get the information till it boils over. We don't have our own group of attorneys that's going to ride or die for the black community. We don't have our own group of bankers that's going to ride or die for the black community. We don't have all of that, right? Where when you look on the other side, they're going to ride for their side, good, bad, or indifferent. We don't have that. And because we don't have that, we continuously find ourselves in these situations where our voices are not heard, where we don't have a seat at the table, where we are victimized even in our own communities, even in our own homes, because we are always considered less than. People like to say that this country was built on freedom. On whose freedom? Not ours.
It's on the backs of us.
Nobody asked us.
On the backs of us.
Nobody asked us about the freedom. This country was built on hate. And because this country was built on hate, and no one wants to acknowledge the fact that it was built on hate, it was raised on hate of everybody, right? So the original people who came here, you came here because you wanted to get away from your town, from your country. You wanted to get away from that. You wanted to come here so that you could live. I'm free. I done moved on. But you came here hating on the people that was already here. How you steal their land and then give it away to other people that look like you? You didn't hate them for it. You just stole it.
That's right.
And then when that don't work, and when that's not good, well, let me go on over here to Africa, and I'm going to use these tribes to fight each other, to steal their people and sell their people, and bring them over here to do the same that I don't want to do. So we were never equal, right? It was never, that Constitution that everybody likes to always talk about, that was never for us.
You mean the one that makes you 3/5 of a person? That Constitution?
That one that one right there.
Right. Right.
That was never for us.
No.
And the fact that no one wants to acknowledge the fact that it was never for us. They don't want to have those conversations. They don't want to teach those lessons, right? It always, the saying is, history is written by the winners, right? And because of that is why we don't know. And we allow others to educate us on what it is that we should know.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a 16-year-old daughter and a 14-year-old son. And when I say I have been overly emotional these last couple of days, like if my son asked me, could he go to his black friend house, I probably would have told him.
Mm-hmm.
But he had his white friend house because I know over there with the white folks stay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sad as hell to me. Because I know that ain't nobody gonna run up in their house and try to do nothing to them because they white.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't trust the same thing about taking to his black friend's house.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the most disturbing thing as a parent, to know that there are things that I can't save my son from, things that I can't save my daughter from. Now, my son, very mild-mannered, very cultured, real calm, down to earth. That daughter of mine, that 16-year-old, she is her mother's child through and through. She gonna cuss the police the fuck out. And then where we gonna be?
Mm-hmm.
So we have to figure out what that continuous action is and make sure that when we're making these plans and when we're having these actions, that we set ourselves up to where what used to happen can no longer happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We used to have communities where we had our own banks, we had our own business,
Mm-hmm.
and we had our own everything. And we
That's
allowed
right.
fearful,
Black
hateful
Wall Street.
white people come and take it away, not because we were doing something wrong, but because they were jealous of what we had.
We let integration kill a whole lot too.
Yeah.
Integration destroyed our communities. Oh yeah, I look at
You don't want to hear that.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. But the fact of the matter is, we allow others to come in because they were jealous of what we had and blow it all to pieces. Right? And even with these uprisings, I understand it and I get it, but the fact of the matter is, just like in Detroit, just like in Watts, you are burning down stuff where you live. You ain't went over there to where they live and burned down their stuff. You just tore up your own neighborhood, and now you got to look at it. So now what's going to happen? Who coming back to build? What businesses is going to take a chance on that?
That's a good point.
Right? From a financial standpoint.
Great point.
You have to understand that, yeah, you can be mad and you can have uprisings, but you got to find a better way to do it than tearing up your stuff, right? If I get mad at my husband, I'm not going to go tear up my stuff. If I get mad at somebody else, I'm not going to hurt me. I'm going to hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to run my head into the wall. That's somebody else's head going into the wall, not mine, because I love me.
Mm-hmm.
It's you I don't like.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I
No.
know a lot of
Fantastic
a lot of
points. We're
times.
gonna hang up and talk about some of those. Now, you made some great points. Appreciate you.
Thanks a lot, Nataki. Thanks a lot. I'm so glad to hear from you.
All right.
A lot of people are reactive instead of proactive. Something happens, you react. If you cut your finger, you are liable to react and go crazy until you start seeing that blood shooting all over the place. Then you know you got to calm down and take care of everything. So sometimes, it's okay to react because it's natural. You're gonna react, but once you are able to analyze the system, then you got to be proactive and you got to move forward that way, because you can't just react on emotions and stay on emotions.
I'm gonna read this.
You got to have a balance.
Eric put up, man, it's so good to hear all these strong, thoughtful people in my race express themselves so eloquently. I 1000% agree on that. I'm gonna say this: a lot of the points that Nataki brought up, the solutions are already there. Like, I grew up, and I know this not everybody, but the Detroit I grew up in, there was a team of black attorneys. Choe Lamunda, one of them, his son is now the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi, that were there for the people. There was all kind of clinics for the people. There was black doctors that we went to. There's black folks on the school board, but at the same time, I'm representing one side of that. Another side is folks that didn't have anything. But I think in every community you go to, I go to Flint right now. I can go to Saginaw right now. I can go to Columbus, Macon, Georgia right now. There are some black lawyers there, some black doctors there, some black bankers there that are there. I think a lot of times we look for stuff that's just real out. But if you go into a community and search, you're going to find somebody. Every community got community leaders. What are you doing, dude? Every community has.
My phone My phone was putting on a performance. The battery was getting low. I had to hit the automatic charger, and I was trying not to be conspicuous amongst my actions.
It may be a broke down building, but there are people who will help everywhere. And I think one of the things we can do is create a network to connect these people. But as far as, a lot of times we reinvent the wheel. Like I've learned about a lot of people here in to do things just from Dante. We got sons that play sports. He'll tell me about, hey, so-and-so's doing this, so-and-so's doing that. Like when you get in the mix in a place, you learn about it. And there's people there. And I think we also we operate under the myth that other communities are united. They not either. Especially if you live in Metro Detroit. I'll break it down.
Yeah, they're not.
Is the Italians.
I guarantee you, white people fight amongst each other all the time.
It's not. You got the Chaldeans over here. You got the Arabs over here. Like nobody is united. This world ain't united. Every country is beef between people. And I just think for us, if we like-minded people, we need to get together and share information. That's to put your money in. It's a black bank here in Atlanta. Everybody can get in there. There's online banks. There's things we can do to help build. There's things, and I just think that is little steps. And that's better than having one big step. Because in our history, we had one big person, one big leader. They just kill him or her. They just assassinate and then it dies. And that's what I loved about Black Lives Matter, how these millennials are protesting. They don't have one leader. You can't chop the head off. And I think that we can adopt more like that. That's just my take. I think these are great points. I love y'all. Keep it coming. If you're not in
a good take, Anna.
Get in the group and put this stuff in because you're picking our topics. You're driving it. It's nothing to have you on the show.
That's right.
And talk about it. I would love that. They would love that. This is not about us. This is the community. So, I mean,
That's right.
Got a caller. Hey, speak your piece for Show Radio.
Hello?
Yep. Shoot.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Lee?
What's up?
What's good, my guy?
What's happening?
Man,
what's going on, man?
I really appreciate it. Just like all the rest of the brothers and sisters have been saying this evening, I too am very upset, but I try to view this and understand where we actually can get something resolved. I mean, bottom line is, to quote the great O'Shea Jackson, God damn, I'm glad they set it off. I don't totally condone everything that's going on, but yes, I understand. I understand it from the standpoint of people are fed up from years and years of this tomfoolery that's been going on all this time in regards to all the many different places and different people that have been oppressed by the racist police and other forms of government that we have endured in these last and many, many years. Keep in mind, though, as black people, and I agree with the caller earlier who said that we need to weed out the niggas that's in this scenario because they are the ones, unfortunately, seem to be representative to those of the non-minorities as to what they think we are. We, the people that we're speaking right now, the people that I'm talking to on the phone, we are the true representatives of what our culture has to bring to this world. And we are the ones who need to voice our opinions, and those opinions need to be voiced to the masses so they fully understand why we feel the way we feel. Now, keep in mind, this has happened not only because of the fact that it's been going on and now they catching the little hookers on tape, but because of the fact that we as a people are fed up with how it's being dealt with. It's wrong.
That's right.
Plain and simple and plain.
That's right.
That all these things happen, and in the end, they fade away to the back pages of the news, and most of these officers just mainly get a slap on the wrist or get dealt with just long enough to quiet things down so they don't tear up their precious community. So they're not worried about us tearing up Minneapolis and Detroit and Southside Chicago. They're worried about us tearing up suburbs and Bloomfield Hills and Auburn Hills and Dearborn. That's what they don't want us to do. That's what they're trying to hold it from doing. And keep in mind, the main reason why this is going down to the extent that it is because of the so-called leader, the one I like to call the clown. I call him the clown. Because everything he deals with makes this more of a three-ring circus every day. I'm not sure if you are familiar with what happened today, but knowing that he needed to deal with what was really going on in his country, he chose to address what's going on with China.
Of course.
We don't give a damn about China right now. You always preaching America first. Why didn't you deal with your problem in America? Where you said that foolish ass shit about the shooters and the looters, and then didn't have the balls to back it up on live TV. When you know that's the main thing everybody was going to ask you. That is the problem. And in the end, these people...
Well, that's because he's part of the problem.
Call you on your bullshit, and you quick to run when it's not about you. When you see that you're going to be on the losing end of the stick that day, that's when you decide not to have a press conference. You're a terrible journalist. No, you're a terrible president, guy. And I can't wait till November we get your punk ass the fuck out of here.
There it is. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you.
Like I said, I'm talking about that too. It's so much to be said, but I'm just enjoying listening to y'all and all the people that are voicing these quality opinions. We can do whatever little bit we can.
That's
why I started my podcast. Thank you, Dave, for letting people know about it. I appreciate it. I'm still in the inkling stages of it, but it's called Get Off My Lawn. Check it out. I'll be doing that tomorrow. I'll be and I thank you guys again for the forum. Dave, hit it for me one time on the way out.
Strike a pose!
Lord have mercy. Good stuff. Good stuff, Carlin. Good stuff. Hey, man, I love it. I love it.
Hey, Allison posted something up there that was hella, man. She said that we are suffering from PTSD.
Oh, most definitely.
And when you think about it, that is powerful.
We on some post-traumatic slave disorder. I ain't talking about stress.
Right. You know, that's right.
Articles, all kind of stuff on that. I mean, I like this because this is like a think tank. Nobody has all the answers, but this is a great start. I just want to encourage all of you that are doing something. Trust me, even when it don't seem like nothing's happening, you doing something. Just this conversation, they say when you hit a certain age, man, the most revolutionary thing you can do is have a strong family. You know, your family.
Hey, man, each one teach one, man. That thing is real. Each one teach one.
Like, but thinking it's
we inspired Steve to go out and I didn't mean to cut you. Well, I did, but Steve Johnson went out and actually wrote something that he thinks could be a law. He just rewrote something and he sent it to his constituents. And who knows what is going to come out of that?
All I'm saying, take it back to Brian. All I'm saying is, man, you know, them folks out there that I ain't gonna use the N-word no more. I buried it, but they're my brothers.
I dug it up.
We gotta. I mean, as much as possible. Now I ain't being unrealistic, but even more so, working with their children. If you really talk about changing something, man, it starts with kids. You know, you waste your time talking to a 40, 50-year-old man. I mean, really, or woman. So put that example out there. They can see. But we gotta.
Their minds are made up.
They're already done, man. But man, you just that one. You have no idea how powerful you are, man. One man, one woman standing up, thinking, talking. You're an example for hundreds of people, and each of us can be there where we are. But as far as thinking, it's
you don't know who watching you.
Kind of press.
You don't know who watching you.
That's not going to happen, man. This pop culture set up around foolishness. I'm gonna tell all of you that said something about rioting. I do want to say this to you. You do realize we have not torn up our own communities and rioted since the 60s. Where they rioted in Minneapolis, that's not the black community. That's where they killed him. That's nowhere near the black community. When we rioted, when they rebelled in LA in '93. that wasn't Watts. Watts was the 60s. Detroit was 67. They're downtown Atlanta. That is not.
I think people
the community.
No, that's not right. And they're using the word, but I think they're talking about
I get it.
Mob gatherings that sometimes incite violence or.
But check this out, though, man. This is how those.
So they use the word riot.
You ain't
I
hearing
don't
what
think
I'm
they
saying,
mean.
dude. This is how those protests go. People come out there peacefully protesting early. As it gets late, a lot of people leave. You got another crew to come out and let's set it off. So it's two different people. It's not like everybody's coming
Well,
out
the
there.
freaks come out at night.
Okay, whatever, but I'm just so it's a different hookup, and I'm saying they're not tearing the community up. So people kill me talking about some Minneapolis, they destroyed black businesses. No, they didn't. Unless this black dude owns an AutoZone, probably a franchisee. They didn't do that. So that's like a false narrative, man.
Yeah.
And I just think if you're upset, you got to go express that somewhere, somehow. But that's that generation. Our generation, we setting some stuff up to help deal with stuff. Everybody's got a role to play. And, you know, it's my little 2 cents. Callers, we open, we stay a little bit longer if you got some stuff. But you can't protest without unity. This one I'm going to disagree with you. We protest all the time without unity. That's what we did. Think about what we did at Easter. Think about shut them down. How many of us were really out there? There might have been 5,000 black folks on campus. There was about 80 of us out there. And we made it work. Civil rights movement, they didn't have everybody. They had some students in North Carolina A&T that set it off because it was college students, then little kids. Grown folks came last. You're not going to have unity right off the rip. If we wait on everybody to do something, that's not going to happen. Somebody got to start it.
For those, there's some people who don't. A lot of people don't know what you're talking about when you say shut them down. We went to college together at Eastern Michigan, and we had a protest called "Shut Them Down." And I must admit, I took me under my tutelage, and I taught him the ways of the protest. And look at him now. Listen to how he's actually been sounding somewhat intelligent tonight. I mean, you know what I mean? I give him credit for that.
We got to call her.
When he speaks intelligent, I claim him. When it doesn't, then
you on?
Hi.
Hello.
I just wanted to chime in real quickly about the topic at hand. I've been sitting and watching and listening.
Wait a minute, say your name. Who are you?
Not only to this conversation, but other conversations as well. And I think I've become more agitated by the conversations that I have not seen going forward. I think a lot of us, we like to refer to African Americans as we're this one big group. We're all like-minded, and it's not true. We all sit around and wait. We're waiting for unity and thinking that once we have unity, that all of our problems will be solved. But as you guys have stated on the call several times, we have a whole mixture of everything we need. We have attorneys, we have doctors, we have soldiers, financial wizards, we have social workers, we have, you name it, we have it, and we got niggas. Now, a lot of people like to look at it in a negative standpoint, but on one hand, there's a negativity behind
they're needed.
I come from niggas, and I understand that they don't just wake up that way. As you stated before, Lee, there's a situation that creates them to be that way. And so all bad people don't come from niggas, and sometimes a lot of good come from them. And as you just said, you do need them.
Malcolm X.
Instead of waiting for the unity of all the people, get a small group of people of all those people we just discussed, including niggas, and have them to put a cohort together so that a movement can get started. We're too worried about being seen, people knowing what we're doing. We don't have a leader. Nobody needs to know what's going on. Put something together where a movement can get started, and whenever you need anybody from any of those demographics, you have them there, including niggas. Niggas would have been very useful before the police got there.
They would have had them police. We go from niggas to guys. I mean, I'm not about to knock that.
They could have went from where they were, whether they were in Chicago or Compton or wherever. The niggas in that cohort could have handled business and got on back to where they were supposed to be.
They're gonna do the stuff Negroes with jobs night.
And any other component of any issue that we have with that cohort of people that we have, they can assist with getting things done. we're too focused on everybody coming together collectively, and that's never going to happen.
Ain't gonna happen.
We're not like-minded.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. That's not even a strength. That's honestly a weakness. It's good we're diverse. It's good we have different views.
So for me, it seems to me, I'm hearing a lot of people that are more focused on the fact that they're rioting and that they're tearing things up. I personally could care less about it. I mean, when Black people did establish, and those are not even our communities that's being torn up right now, but when we did establish communities, when we were successful in those communities, they came in and destroyed those communities. And it's like we never speak about that. We might speak about it one time a year.
Paradise Valley.
Like right.
Black Wall Street.
Right. We don't really focus on this.
That's right.
Fourth Ward, Atlanta.
We're focused on the job. It's like we have all this supposed anger, but I'm not gonna say that, man. Because if I didn't have this job, well, you gotta choose. You gotta choose if you want to continue to see African American people getting killed in broad daylight, by the police, or do you want this to end? And if you want it to end, there's going to be some sacrifice. There's going to be some hurt. There's going to be some loss. There's going to be a lot of things, but you have to do what needs to be done in order to get the effect that you want. And a lot of people, meaning us, don't want to go through those growing pains to get where we need to be.
You can't have a painless revolution.
Yeah.
Can't happen.
That's my take on it.
Appreciate it. What's your name, caller?
This is Katrina.
That. Thank you, Katrina. That's real. We want a painless revolution. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen that way.
The whole time I didn't recognize her voice until she said her name.
See, and that's the thing, man. And Stromboli, my brother to the end, love it. But we weren't like-minded in the 50s and 60s. That's speaking through a lens. We weren't like-minded. Man, it's folks in the North thought folks down here was getting blasted by firearms was fools. They wouldn't touch that. They were not nonviolent. They weren't going to be. But that struggle worked, man. I mean, it's room for everybody. Hey, speak your piece, caller.
Hello?
Go for it.
Yeah, I wanted to piggyback off Katrina's phone call. She made some great.
Hey, it's Steve.
And it resonated in my spirit. But I want to ask you guys, you and Dave, a question. When the power shifts, okay, which it's going to do, are we prepared as a community to handle that?
Go ahead, Dave.
No, we will be.
That's the question.
We will be. When it shifts, we will be.
You think so?
Well, I mean, yeah, we will be.
I think
absolutely. Because look what you're saying. You're saying when the power shifts. Well, when the power shifts, that means we have taken power. And when we've done enough to quote unquote take power, I think that the spiritual sense of all of us, we are the people of the sun.
I think
we are God's children.
No one on this earth adapts the way we do to everything.
Because he's not.
You understand what I'm saying? I mean, I believe we are the most the most flexible on this planet, man. If power went out right now, we figure out a way to make it work. If the money was gone, we figure out a way to, because we too good at survival.
You're right.
We gotta learn how to live and thrive, but we know how to survive, and almost too much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right.
We need to live. We need to live.
I witnessed somebody killed himself. A white guy I worked with who was in charge of our IT department. I didn't see him do it, but he blew his brains out because he was having a hard time on his job.
Amen.
And it's like, what in the world? Why would you do some shit like that?
Couldn't take it.
Black people have struggled, like you just said, for hundreds of years and have thrived. I'm reading some quotes. We have no financial base, but we don't need a financial base either because we get what we need. We trade, we barter,
we get them on. We never would have made it, man. You know, we made it eating the innards of animals, eating their intestines. Don't tell me black folks can't adjust in the
y'all still eat that garbage.
To another group's way of living.
Yes, there you go.
We're communal, dude.
That's the answer I was looking
you know, we can. So I mean, it works. It's just in the last 30, 40 years, we're moving to more like them. And that's why all of a sudden we got rates of suicide with our kids that we never had. We weren't going to kill ourselves. We killed somebody else. It's probably just as bad, but we would kill ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So I completely believe that.
Thing I want to say is that these young goons wearing skinny jeans and Nike flip-flops and shit, we gotta grab these guys and father them. We gotta father these dudes.
Them your soldiers.
Daddies.
Them your soldiers. They in their warrior state. 13 to 25. Them your soldiers. So I mean, to just abandon them, that's why they run wild.
Right. They've been abandoned, bro.
Mm-hmm. They've been
abandoned. We gotta grab them, y'all.
They the ones downtown cutting up.
Yeah.
I love them right now. They downtown cutting up. It's them. Them the ones you talk about.
We were doing the same thing at that age. You already know that.
Well,
I mean, I'm speaking right now personally today. We were doing the exact same thing. Were we not?
I know.
Yes. Oh, you gonna take?
I don't recall.
So yeah,
I don't recall.
But amongst our young
black men.
But understand something. Downtown right now, them college students, them ain't folks coming up out the guts here. Them college students. Those are students down there, high school and college. Yeah, that's who's down there. You know what I'm saying? That's who shows up. Those are anarchists. Those people with the philosophy. Those are not. That ain't the hood showing up downtown Atlanta to do all that.
Georgia State.
They dealing with something. They dealing with something different. You know. This is more personal. I'm speaking to this.
They tearing shit up though. I give them credit.
It's a dried out husk, but it's not because of the people. Detroit is dried up because when my pop was in Detroit in 1950, it was 3 million people. Detroit is down to about 500,000 people.
Yes.
Detroit has no businesses. It's not because of the people. Folks got up and moved. We made the car, we made the highway, and they got on the highway and got the hell out of there. And now they're coming back and taking over the city. The city as a whole is never going to be that they change their numbers.
Took the financial base.
More Detroiters have left than stayed.
We went for a drive to get out the house. You see young white girls walking dogs downtown.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hold on. Sorry about that.
You know, they pushing people out. You know, it's crazy, man. We got to do something. And like the last caller said, it's not going to take, and I realized that now that resonated with me. It ain't going to take this big, huge group hug to make this shit happen. It's going to take people like me that wrote that email, like y'all that's doing the show, like other people. You know, and it's going to have an effect on an individual level,
baby steps,
from different perspectives,
local level, baby steps.
Right.
That's it.
You know,
that's
we're not ever going to come together collectively as a race. I don't think on that level.
No,
I mean it would be nice, but I don't think it's going to happen.
And there's not.
And if it does happen, it's going to be a long time from now.
And there's not one example of that ever happening with any race.
Right.
It's just it's not going to happen. You know,
that's true.
Let me flip to.
We just got to pound the pavement, man.
That's it.
Individually, we got to make a difference, and you can't, burning down stores and all that shit. I mean, that's raw frustration. It's like if you yell and nobody hears, then you scream.
Right.
You know, and when you scream, motherfucker hear you then. You know.
Right. That's it.
So that's really what that's all about.
Yeah.
It's just trying to get attention, man.
Yeah, and then you go from there. I mean, that's like okay, that's rock bottom. Now we got to do it.
Sometimes you burn a few stores. Sometimes you gotta burn a few stores.
Speak your piece for sure. Right now, baby. What's happening? Go for it, man.
Man, I'm trying to type these things in real quick, man. It's hard to get a point across trying to type.
The ball is back.
Go ahead, bro.
Now, what I was saying about that whole thing about Detroit. Detroit, man, you know, I keep shit real. I don't give a fuck who gets mad at me or whatever, man. Somebody can call me a racist or whatever they want to call me or whatever. But anyway, I put that disclaimer out there to say that, yeah, Detroit is a dried out husk. Every dollar in Detroit goes to Dearborn, flat out.
Yeah.
Detroit has absolutely no financial base in any community, and we allow it. And that's why I got a problem with niggas, because we allow it. We allow these Arabs, and I'm just calling it like it is. We allow these Arabs from Dearborn to post up their businesses. This has been going on for the last 20 years.
30.
We allow them to post up their businesses, sell rotten meat in the stores. You go inside of any of these stores, and they're filthy and nasty as fuck, right? But we allow that in our community. We still continue to go to those stores. You got Arab stores marking up toilet paper, fucking Angel Soft toilet paper, $20, $25. You feel me?
Yeah.
All of that kind of stupid shit.
Yeah.
You got all of that going on, and we allow it. Back in the day, that shit would have got shut the fuck down.
But B, let me say this, man, and I totally agree with you. But let's really take a look at Detroit, man. The best and the brightest done left. And I don't mean they're not going to city at all. I'm trying to say at this point, man, as a black man, I'll go with your analogy. The wild ones that took over. I ain't gonna say the N word, but they've taken over, and it's in such a drastic amount. It's like 100-1. And I understand the frustration. That was the frustration when I left, man. I'm gonna always love the crib, but you talk about Detroit, but take it out to Oakland County, take it out to Macomb, Washington. This black folks thriving. It's just inside that base. It's been drained. It's like all the talent has been drained. So it's real hard to change something around when your base is outside of there. You get what I'm saying?
Like this, though, Lee. Check it out. I'm looking at it like this on a more basic level.
Yeah.
A lot of talent has been drained, but there's still a lot of talent in Detroit.
Right, but what do they do? What do they do while they shopping? Where do they go to school? Like what I'm trying to say is they don't demand that this stuff be like Detroit celebrate when a Whole Foods open. It's like 5 Whole Foods within 30 minutes of me. Like we don't. If the people there said, like, dude, man, they stopped delivering food to my neighborhood when I was like 10. I couldn't even get a delivery. I couldn't even get a paper. It's like stuff has been allowed to go so far the other way. And then the people who do stay, you know, if I'm in Palmer Woods, I don't know how Rosedale Park is now. If I'm in Indian Village, I'm living a different life than if I'm on Finkel. I'm on Wyoming. I'm on Shape. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so the people who do live there, they don't demand that.
And that brings me back.
You got to demand that to get there.
That's the whole point, though, Lee. That's the whole point I bring up about unity.
Yeah.
We have absolutely none in this community. In Detroit, there's none. Unity is, I'm going to allow these motherfuckers to have all of these blunts and this and that. And, you know, if you smoke, that's straight. But now the store is turned into a blunt store.
Right.
The store is turning, you go to the gas station, they got all kind of pornos and knives and shit all up at the counter and everything. Yeah. Like the community is only for niggas. It ain't for old folks.
Right. And that's the problem with the crib. There's no middle ground. You either got a whole lot of money and you downtown or close to downtown.
They're catering to the majority. They're catering to what's there.
I'm right downtown, but I'm gonna tell you, man, it's the thing. It's the problem. We have no unity. We allow that shit to go on. The sooner we cut that shit out altogether, the better off we'll be. We can shut these businesses down.
But do you realize that's unity? It's just not the unity you want.
Oh, that's unity.
No, they're getting what they want. If the folks who live there didn't want it there, it wouldn't be there.
Exactly what I'm saying.
So they do have unity. It's just in the flip of what you're saying.
Exactly, and that's exactly my original point. The unity is with niggas.
Right.
We've allowed the nigga culture to take over the black culture.
And
not only that, we've allowed white people to narrate that culture. We've allowed white people to sit back and say, well, this is the black culture. They call each other niggas and bitches.
Right.
You know, they're shaking their asses and twerking. That's what it's all about, because that's all we see. So that's all we know, and that's all we want to portray. We don't want to portray somebody who can turn this motherfucker out intellectually. We don't want to portray somebody who can bring real black people together and stop all of these entertainment Negroes.
But see,
we need these Negroes.
And you're right, but at the same time, that's not everywhere.
They gonna feed the beast.
That's not everywhere. Come on down here.
That's worldwide though.
But come on down and visit.
Allowing white people to tell the narrative of us.
Yeah, if you're gonna accept that, that's what you accept, man. You can't. But there's what I'm trying to tell you. Come down here and visit your brother, and you'll see a black community in a totally different light. Come on down here and visit.
Come down here and live.
I'll tell you what I call Atlanta, the south side of Detroit.
Yeah, if he comes to visit you, he'll see something, all right.
You shouldn't.
Y'all live on the south side of Detroit.
You know, hey. I mean, but that's real. It's something to that. I used to be like, why are they coming here? But it's something to that. I lived
down south for a few years, you know, and I spent a lot of time.
Sorry, go ahead, B.
And you know, black folks.
Call it got you.
This was the '90s, though.
Right.
Now it's a different era, man.
It's different, man.
Everybody is wild. The only images we get is foolish.
Come on down, man.
We allow them to show us, to show the world, is foolish. Mm-hmm. We got to stop letting white folks tell.
Carla, hold on.
You know?
Yep. Hey, let me take this call. You made great points, my brother. Great points. For sure. Love you, bro. Hey, man.
Take a poll.
I want to hear this music, man. This dude need to send it to me.
Oh, yeah, man. I got some great shit, man, right now. I got one song, The Orange Man Has Got to Go.
Bet that. Take care.
That shit is
dope. Radio, speak your piece.
I just wanted to respond to the last caller.
Yes.
In regards to the areas that just have this, quote unquote, niggers left. That, like you stated before, that's created. Mm-hmm. I think one of the biggest issues that we have in the black community, and I don't think it's a situation where we're wrong in that, but our generation, we were taught that the best thing you could do is go to school and get an education. Mm-hmm. And even before that, that was taught. And so a lot of people are taught to get an education, become successful, and then you move on.
Move out.
And when you move on, all that's left are those uneducated mm-hmm. people. But then we get upset with those uneducated people who can't do better for themselves, but there's no one to teach and to help them be better. Mm-hmm. And so then you end up with a situation of a bunch of niggers, as we stated, in a community who's going to school, being taught by people who don't look like them. So their education is not important to them, but they're not being educated, they're being pushed through. And you just have the cycle that continues. Black people, there's a lot of classism upon us, and amongst us. Mm-hmm. And we don't like to admit that, and we like to say, well, no, I don't look down on people, that don't have as much as me, but they do. And that's the situation that becomes created from that. It's like, I ain't with that. I don't have to be around that. We're taught to grow up, get an education, become successful, and move away. Who's going to be the one to stay there to ensure that it don't become?
And that's our base. That's our base. I mean, it's a saying, N-words aren't born, they're created. I believe that.
Exactly.
That's a creation.
What is N-word?
I ain't going there no more, man. That's a word I use freely. I believe it's devastating now. I'm done with that. But I believe conditions create that, man. And it's I'll say it's easy for me now because when I was living in the mix and I was truly in the mix, I was losing my mind. So I do get it. But I just think
unfortunately I remember. You haven't gotten your mind all the way back.
I was in the for real mix. They're not saying some of y'all not, but
howling at the moon and all that.
Sometimes you have to get out. You know what I'm saying? You have to get out so you can have some peace of mind. You can go back in and help and work. All right, go ahead. We wait. No, you gotta take calls. Say it, whatever it is. Say it, my dude. I mean, classism is for real. Oh, I hope it cut out. Oh, I call it.
I want Anna to call, and Anna and Allison. Some of y'all who've been there had some
we got about 10 more
there,
minutes,
man.
y'all. You know, we went way over this time.
Yeah, but it's worth it.
Everybody.
It's worth it. Well,
stop smoking, man. I mean, I don't smoke. I don't know.
Is it homegrown?
Stop it, dude.
I don't want none of the weaponized.
No.
I mean, you know, if it's homegrown, that's it.
I don't know, yo. I mean, you know, and then sometimes we gotta stop presuming we know what's good for everybody. Everybody don't want the same thing. You don't. Yes, and racism also taught behavior. Now, yeah.
Well, I mean,
and you know, the thing about racism that's a trip is like this. You got prejudice, you got discrimination, you got racism. Oh, got our caller. For sure, radio, speak your piece.
What's going on?
What's happening?
This is Dante.
What up, Dante?
Strike a pole.
Can y'all hear? Go for it, bro.
Dante, you called him out.
We talking about getting rid of all the Negroes, the niggas and whatnot. I mean, let's just keep it real. You know, let's stop being accountable and stop smoking weed. Let's start being more accountable and stop going to the clubs like we, you know, still 18 and 19 years old. Let's stop acting like, you know, N-words and start acting like adults. Let's start, you know, taking care of our children, focusing on our children first.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you don't have kids, find you someone and adopt a kid or whatnot. You have, you know, again, you know, with our sons, you know, with the AAU thing, you know, we're not just dealing with our sons. It's so many other young men who don't have fathers in the household. So we like to talk, you know, and I get it. All this stuff sounds good, but what are we gonna do tomorrow? What are we gonna do next week? You know, we have to build these young men, you know, instead of trying to repair, you know, broke down dudes who's not gonna change. You know what I'm saying? So let's start with our youth. You know, Jill Scott on the Breakfast Club put it best. He said, whatever you do, you have to do it, you know, in secret, you know, and behind closed doors. So I say let's do that. A good place to start would be these youth programs, you know, whether it be sports or anything else that involves youth. Unfortunately, that's all we really have in the Black community that people gravitate towards is sports. Let's go there. Let's try that. You know, again, if you don't have a son, you know, you got a nephew. You don't have a nephew, you got a friend that has a son. You know what I'm saying? Once you get involved, it's a whole core of young men who are waiting for fathers, you know, who we can take care of these young men. Mm-hmm. That's my view.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Appreciate it. New great points.
Strike a pose, Dante.
For myself, that's all I've ever done, work with youth, but different people have different things. I do recognize everybody's not equipped to work with young people. Some people got technical knowledge of different things. What I was going to say before, I'm going to put this out there.
I don't want to take away the homegrown, though. I can
do that's on you, my dude.
Smoke weed and chill.
Forgive the typos. I was going fast.
Ryan, I mean, not the weaponized weed. I mean,
we got prejudice. We got discrimination.
Still drinking.
We have racism. All right. Prejudice is just a preference. I like so-and-so more than such and such. Everybody's going to be prejudiced to something. Food, people, whatever. Discrimination. That's an action. So-and-so can't do this because
I'm prejudiced against you.
All of us discriminate to a degree. We just do. That's just part of being human. Racism is a whole different hookup. Racism is a system that keeps his foot on your neck, or in this case, knee on your neck, from the cradle to the grave. It is impossible for a black person to be racist. It is impossible for a brown person or a yellow person in this country to be racist. Why? Because they don't have any power. The most they can do is be prejudiced, and they might discriminate. You know, and we just throw that racism term around a lot without really looking at, you know, that ain't it. Anna, we are ready for your question because we're gonna close on out. We've had a great night, enjoyed everybody, but do recognize racism is a system, y'all. So, Anna, we ready? Let us know. We go for it. Anything you want to add before Anna's question, man?
Well,
It's been a good night.
we ready for you, Anna. I know you trying to get the kids to bed.
No, she just said, "Are we ready?"
getting
Oh, I'm
sleepy
sorry.
too.
Right now, she's telling us she's ready. Let's see. Okay, here's the question. What happened to the Million Man March? I was so impressed by this growing up. Wow. And we were both there. We were both there. 1995.
Yeah, Anna. I remember when Anna was in school during the Million Man.
She was at Easter?
When I went down there.
Okay.
She was at Wilson Middle School.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I think she might have graduated at that point. But
okay,
anyway, yeah.
You want to go first?
But listen. That's it. Yeah, well, yeah, I'll kind of go first. I think that what happened is the Million Man March is one of the most beautiful things to ever take place. It was such an electricity that you could not believe. And I mean, people were stopping at green lights and getting out and hugging each other. It was almost like a utopia. And I think that vibe, people had a lot of good intentions. But what happened is the enemy looked at that and was like, okay, we're not going to have a repeat of this. So I think that drugs in the neighborhood turned up. You had violence in the neighborhood turned up. You had gentrification in the neighborhood turned up. And it's not an excuse, okay? But we fell victim to these things and we allowed it to victimize us and lose sight of where we were. So I think that, the post-Million Man March was undermined by people who never wanted to see it take place in the first place. And unfortunately, now a lot of good came out. You got a lot of businesses that took place. You had, hell, me and this joker put this show together after Million Man March, and I've carried him. But the bottom line is, it was helped to be born out of that spirit. There's people who have businesses to this day that were founded with people who they met during the Million Man March. But I understand what Anna is saying because the spirit of that, should have carried us to a whole nother level at this point. Okay. I think a year after the Million Man March is when Tupac was killed. And he was a much bigger voice than a lot of people want to believe.
Dude, come on, man.
You're gonna hate on Tupac now? You hate Tupac? How dare you?
No, okay, the Million Man March was
I know you're a 2 Live Crew fan.
It was an event. It was a beautiful event. But it's an event. It's the same as the March on Washington, I suppose, in 63. It was co-opted because we got back all of a sudden. We're supposed to give money to someone. Who we giving this money to? What is it doing? But as far as the intent of the folks who were there, I don't know anybody who's changed. Everybody I know who went, and I'm thinking roughly 100, 150 people, they still there. It's just life happens. That was 25 years ago, and it was one day. One day where I couldn't get any food. I was highly upset about that. But it was one beautiful day. But that spirit and those friendships and those partnerships, they've continued on. But as far as people thinking there was one thing that was going to just change the earth, it was never going to be that. Because that's something we all went to, but then so all of a sudden it turned into a Nation of Islam thing, which it never was. It just wasn't. That wasn't my reason for going. Not because I'm not down with the Nation, but I'm not a member. And I just think the things that sparked the conversation, the people, it was a pivotal event. It'll always be that, but it's just an event. It's what we do every day that matters. And so for that matter, for the people that inspired, it'll always be there. It'll always be there, but that's all it was. So I don't think violence turned up. I don't think nothing was more violent than Detroit in the 80s. And this was the 90s. I don't think it ever got back like that. I don't think it was ever more devastating than before then. It's just everybody's moved on. But it's not sad because we moved on with some power. We met people that, the friendships continue. You know, me and this dude are doing what we do. He is telling the truth. We do what we do now, and that was a big motivator for us. And I think it motivated a lot of folks. But that's just two people who was there. And that Million Man March, that's a lie because there's probably at least 2 million people there. It was all kind of brothers there, you know. So it's a beautiful thing, you know. But
and it was and don't believe that it wasn't a lot of white people there. Don't believe that it wasn't a whole crew of Mexican and Chicano and Puerto Rican.
I ain't seen
there was some. There was some. I seen a few sprinkled about. Okay, there was a huge native contingency there.
The only thing
folks was there.
A lot of Latinos, especially Puerto Rican. That's about it. And I won't say a lot, but I seen enough, man. You know, I mean, it's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah,
beautiful thing. But hey, oh, okay. So these your students, okay?
But everything starts with us, man. Everything starts with the individual. You know what I mean? What are you doing? I'm not saying, and I'm saying any of us. What are you doing, Lee? What am I doing? What is the next person doing? What are you doing as an individual? Because as individuals, I hate to use the fucking COVID-19 as an excuse, but what does COVID-19 do? It spreads like wildfire, and it gets in people, and it does, some serious work. Might not be work that we want, but we could use that example and spread whatever type of message and love and whatever, and spread it as an individual. The phrase "each one teach one" is old, but it's real.
Each one teach one.
And that's the bottom line. You can't make somebody else do something if they don't want to do it. If they hell bent on acting a goddamn fool, that's what they're gonna do. That's how they're gonna act. You're not gonna save everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But hey, when you plant a seed, you never know when it's gonna grow. And
I saved you though, and I'm proud of that. You are my prodigy, and I saved you. And you look like the Predator, but I saved you. I can't help how you look. I can't. But your mind is not as.
I'm sorry.
As it used to be.
I'm sorry you have no hair follicles. I'm sorry you can't grow hair. I apologize. You lost your hair in your mid-50s. Hey, y'all, it's been big fun.
And the little bit that's on there, it's going to shine like a milk tonight. I'm
signing off. Cardinal, what you got to tell them?
That razor.
What you got to tell them, dude?
Oh,
3. I guess he's stuck. 2. Wow.
So look, man, putting this up, man.
Don't say your catchphrase. We can go, man. I got to go. All right. Well, I ain't going to say it.
Like a pole!
We'll see y'all. All right. Peace.